Hi guys, how you doing today? I missed you guys yesterday. Yeah, but they be in Twada. But no, but they be in Twada. No. I've slept, by the way. I'm from taking a nap. Sunday is the day to rest and to modem. But how is your Sunday, guys? Welcome back from the cleaning Saturday. We have had to postpone the convention to the next Saturday because the Saturday of the convention is the cleaning Saturday, and you don't want to cross the cleaning Saturday. Cleaning Saturday is might actually be a disaster for all of us. So guys, I'd like to inform you officially the Love for Cars convention will happen on 5th September 2026, which will be the Saturday after the Saturday that we were scheduled to have the event. 5th September with Dr. Okora convention. Aijuka Blair, Mpanga Godfrey, Chambade Hannington, Jones Info, Simon Baker, Sozira Jab VIP, Muyombia Marking Daniel VIP, Simon Baker Nkumaze, Yusuf Lukonda, Kasule Ramadan VIP, Ricky Chikawa VIP, Aijuka Blair VIP, Mubagai, Mulimutia. How is your Sunday? So, and also I've just read something here in Abaso Medam. The government has abolished school trips without actually abolishing the school trips. The government has abolished school trips without abolishing school trips. Can I tell you how? Remember, there were a number of accidents involving school buses and school vans. And because of that, the Minister of Education, Honorable Jesse Muyingo, when he was at the school, King David Jr., one of the parents suggested that school trips be stopped. Honorable Jesse Muyingo immediately stopped school trips. Now, I think they went back and they sat traffic police, from what I'm going to read, they sat traffic police, Ministry of Education, URA, Uganda National Roads Authority, and I think the district or the Ministry of Local Government. So they sat Richard Aki VIP High. So these guys sat, and I'm going to read for you what they decided are going to be the SOPs for every time a school wants to take kids for a school trip. And so they said, based on Traffic and Road Safety Act, CAP 361, Ministry of Education Guidelines 2023, NEMA, plus Uganda National Roads, even NEMA was there, Uganda National Roads Authority, URA, Police Safety Standards. It applies to all public, private, and government-aided schools. Non-compliance equals trip cancelled plus head teacher liable. Now, they have SOPs for before the school sets off from the school for the trip, when they are in the trip, when they are crossing a district, when they reach their destination, after they have reached their destination, and probably when they come back. So, pre-trip planning SOPs, zero tolerance. The procedure, they are supposed to have approval of the trip by the board, parent and teacher association, the district education officer, yeah, and the ED is supposed to give the school approval to travel 21 days before the travel. It has to be written, yeah. They're supposed to get a copy, supposed to submit a copy to the district DPC and the RTO. The DPC is the district police commander. The RTO is the regional traffic officer. Parents are supposed to consent. Each parent is supposed to consent to the trip. each parent of the student going for the trip is supposed to give you a notarized, by notarized I'm imagining there is a lawyer's kind of stamp. There is supposed to be a risk assessment form signed by the head teacher and the chairman of the parent teacher association. Before you guys do a trip at a school, all those things are supposed to be done. Number 2, there is supposed to be a route and risk assessment. The head teacher is supposed to go, or he's supposed to delegate someone to go to the place where the school is going to do a trip. They are supposed to go there and come back to the school 48 hours before the trip. They are supposed to identify hospitals, police posts, fuel stations every 50 kilometers. They should identify them, yeah? And if there is a trip that is going to be 4 hours plus, every bus or every taxi is supposed to have 2 drivers and 2 teachers. There is supposed to be an itinerary shared with each parent, with the district education officer, and the police via WhatsApp and a hard copy. Now, this is how they are going to select buses. The bus must be 10 years old or newer. Older buses are banned from doing school trips. The bus is supposed to have a passenger service license plus a school trip permit from URA and police. The bus is supposed to have comprehensive insurance, which has passenger liability of a minimum 50 million per passenger. Then the bus needs to do a URA road fitness inspection 14 days before the trip, and they need to have a sticker displayed. The bus needs to have, if it has to have maximum 40 passengers seated, 1 empty seat per 10 learners for emergencies, and no standing, no roof luggage. That's the bus. Hey, you know what it means to Hi Imperial Innocent, Hi Muchiwi Malik. Now, there is supposed to also, the bus that is going to do trips for students or for pupils is supposed to, 1, do a full mechanical check 24 hours before they do the trip. And this mechanical check is supposed to be done at the UNRA garage. You know, these inspection points they have on the major roads. There is supposed safety equipment, 3 fire extinguishers, 2 first aid kits, 3 warning triangles, a toolbox, spare tire, spare belt cutter. Seat belt cutter, sorry. Then each bus is supposed to have a 3-point seat belt. Each bus is supposed to have it for each seat. Identification, they have supposed to have school bus, children on board in front and back and both sides. And red light, amber and red light or butala. Then each bus is supposed to have a speed governor, 70 kilometers per hour max, and a governor certificate with a printout from the last 30 days. Each bus is supposed to have a GPS tracker that gives live data. Okay? And the PTA, the parents are supposed to have a representative that has access to the GPS tracker with geofence alerts. Like every time they cross a district, the parents get an alert. Then the bus is supposed to have CCTV footage, live cameras that give, that record for at least 30 days, with at least 30 days storage. The bus is supposed to have emergency doors that have been tested and no alarm if opened while moving. The driver requirement, that's something, valid permit with a PSV badge plus defensive driving certificates. And the driver of a taxi or a bus, is supposed to have a minimum of 5 years experience of PSV, no accident record in the last 3 years. The bus driver should have a full medical drug test 12 hours before departure. There is supposed to be a relief driver if the trip is going to be 4 hours plus. There is supposed to be zero tolerance to alcohol. Now, on the day, believe it or not, before. Now, on the day of travel, before departure, there is a checklist. 1 teacher per 15 learners, a minimum of 2 female teachers if there is a school, it's girls are involved in the trip. Head teacher and a deputy, or the deputy must be on board for inter-district trips. There is supposed to be a triple head count. They count the students at the classroom, they count the students at the bus door, and after seating. Signed register. Safety. Take drill on seatbelt, exits, evacuation, and the video should be recorded. Now, inspection. There need to be a joint inspection by the teacher, the driver, the parent representative, and also signed off on a form. Communication. There needs to be a WhatsApp group created with the driver, the teachers, the head teacher, the district education officer, the parent representative, the bus company, with the live location shared. Now, during the journey, seating capacity, there needs to be assigned seats into Atha Atura Wano. And they need to check every hour into Atha Atura Wa today. Supervision. Teachers should sit at the front, in the middle, and the back, with roving checks every 30 minutes. Stops. Only gazetted police stations, fuel stations, or schools. No roadside stops. Speed. Maximum of 70 kilometers per hour. Stop every 1.5 hours for 20 minutes. Driver change if there is 4+ hours of travel. Weather. The trip should be cancelled if heavy rain or fog. Driver has the authority to stop. Distraction, 0. No music, no videos, no eating except water. Silence during driving. Emergency SOPs. Response time 5 minutes. Situation action. Accident, evacuate 50 meters away. First aid, call the police, ambulance, insurance. Police at scene within 1 hour to 5 hours. Return report in 12 hours. Breakdown. Triangles at 30 meters plus 60 meters. Call company for relief. Missing learner. Lockdown site. Head count. Alert police site. Security 5 minutes. Call parents. Search team informed. Illness or injury. Now let's see. Documents to carry on the bus. Original copies only. Trip approval. Letter stamped by the DEO and the police. Learner manifest with photo, blood group, allergies, emergency contacts. Driver documents, permit, PSV medical, drug test, governor's certificate. Bus, insurance, road fitness, 14 days, tracking login, inspection report. Emergency SOPs laminated and first aid manual. Prohibited actions, instant cancellation. Night travel 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Absolutely banned. Overloading by even one learner. Trip stopped, bus impounded. Unlicensed buses, kayo. Coasters without PSV, criminal case. Teacher phone use while supervising. Food vendors boarding bus at stops, not allowed. Post-trip. Debrief within 6 hours. Incident report to teacher, to head teacher, plus DEO plus police. Medical check. Any injury reported to health center within 24 hours. Bus inspection video of interior for lost items. Accountability clause. The head teacher, the bus company director, board chair, bear joint criminal and civil liability for any breach. Insurance claim void if SOP is not followed. Mobi wolid. Mobi dobuka kulizo about trip. Me, I'm thinking we were safer when the minister just said, no, it's coming. We were safer when the minister just said the trips are no longer like this. There is no bus that has these things. There is no school that is going to be able to. Corruption is going to be there. I can guarantee you, there is no school that is going to comply to all these things. I mean, they have said that on the bus, they are supposed to have a record of each kid with their photo and blood group and allergies. Trust me, it's only probably, only international schools that have those. And even international schools don't have those records. Here, convention has been postponed to the next weekend, guys, because of the cleaning Saturday. Remember, the convention was 29th August, which is the last Saturday of August, which is a cleaning Saturday. So we have postponed to the first weekend of September, which will not be a cleaning Saturday, obviously. And yeah, and obviously, guys, some of you guys that are employed will have received your pay. So, so it has been postponed by 1 week. So, guys, I'm thinking that schools are just going to, if you have been paying 1 million, just like Zach has said, you're going to pay 2 million to accommodate the trips, because there is no DEO that is going to do all these things for free. The school has to put the DEO on a payroll of some sort if they want to go. I see a company that's going to take over trips. I know, Chira Motors, yeah? It's only Chira Motors that's going to be able to do these things, because it's only Chira Motors that has buses that are less than 10 years old. Only. Because Chira Motors is going to do. The school medicals at the beginning of the term then can use this. You guys are going to pay for medical checkups. We have to check for your student, for your child's blood group. We have to know the allergies. We are going to bring doctors in the school. We do all these checks. Ne ministry yari gambye bugambi nti trip za abagagga, because kakati amasomero gali aga USE UPE tekagenda kudda mugenda mu trip obukwakulizo buyitirivu nnyo bungi. Mugambe Nasif, how are you? Service van has not been mentioned on the day of departure. And there is no service van here because the bus is going to be in good condition. The bus will have to be checked by the Ministry of Works 24 hours before departure. Do you know what that means? Do you know how much corruption is going to be there? It's impossible. It is impossible for those guys. 24 hours. Corruption is going to be there. But me, I find that we could have put the conditions that need to be put, the conditions that we can meet as a country. I mean, I don't personally, 2008, a brand new car in Africa, and you're saying 10 years, it means schools must budget for bus renewal. Exactly. I wonder if there will be any adherence according to how I know how things are done. No, there's not going to be any adherence. There's going to be corruption. I read those things. A bus of 2016 as of year 2026. Our leaders are just dreamers. Personally, I think they wanted to find a way. They wanted to find a way to eliminate school trips without actually eliminating school trips. Because parents were already complaining the school trips are too expensive. Like our kids, for the trainer center, baba na babagagga bagenda kati abafe ne balowooza tetwagala bwagazi bagende nga inga sente tetuzina. So I think they are favoring the poor parents. I mean, schools have been even taking kids to Dubai, the UAE. They have been taking kids to the UK. Now it's going to be clear it's the rich kids that can go. It's the rich kids that are going to be going for these trips. Let them just totally abandon trips. They're just a way of school making money from parents, and what your child gets is less than 40% of the money you pay. Definitely. I also think that school trips, like for us, when we went for school trips, like when we went to Lugogo, we were just there to feel bad that we didn't have money to buy eats, to go to Yesu, so we'd just be moving around in Lugogo. Like the trips to Kachira were just trips for coupling. You know, we could just have an entire debate about this. Let schools now get videographers. Let them go and take the videos from how those places are, and they sit in class, and then show them on huge screens. Then we parents will travel with our kids. I think that's what's going to happen. I think now, So anyway, I hope your Sunday is okay. Some elite schools have been asking for pre-entry medical checkups, blood group checkup was excluded, and I suggest UWA and the National Tourism Board should take up school trips since it has buses. Me, I've never liked going to the zoo. I don't like animals, and I don't think my kids have a story to tell from the time they went to the zoo. I don't think they've ever had like something to tell me from. There's nothing interesting there. I think now what they have done, every school is supposed to have a swimming pool, because schools have been going out of school for swimming. Some schools that don't have pitches have been going out to go play football, play basketball, play those things. Yeah, so that's what happened. It's sad. I'm one of the beneficiaries of the school trips. So when I tell you that it's sad for me and a lot of people. So there are so many jobs lost there. A lot of people that have been working with me are not going to have work anymore. So it's that sad. I think, and just not the people that have been working with me. There are many people that have been working with a lot of other people, yeah, that have lost jobs. Like they are not going to be working anymore because these trips have been cancelled. Places like theme parks, children parks, water parks, those businesses are going to collapse. A lot of them are going to collapse. Most of the schools that take kids to those places will not afford the conditions that have been set by the government. I think the trips where kids had to go and sleep over in places, yes, that's a trip, Ricky. Yeah? If your kid gets out of a school to go for swimming, they can get an accident from between the school and the swimming place. Hey, Ricky, you guys are looking at this thing like it's a school will not even be able to go from one school to another school without authorization. The district education officer has to know that you're going from the school to another. That's a trip. Even going from, what do we say, from Old Kampala to Chibuli SS, the DEO has to know. The regional traffic officer has to know. The district police commander has to know. All these guys have to know. The bus that's going to drive the students from Old Kampala SS to Chibuli SS has to meet the requirements. The only requirement they don't have to meet is that the head teacher doesn't have to be in there because you're not crossing from Kampala to Wachiso. The moment you're crossing from Kampala to Wachiso, then the head teacher has to be seated in the bus. If, for example, kids have been coming from Wachiso and they are going to the Uganda Museum, they are crossing a district, the head teacher has to be in there. And because Wachiso to Kampala is going to be a trip of a 4-hour trip, the school has to pay 2 drivers. Hey, Ricky, you guys have these things start affecting us in Poramporangatitumanye. I don't know if the guys that sit in these meetings have children in these schools. You see the cleaning Saturday thing, it's going to affect a lot of businesses. You get it? I think the weekend cleaning thing could have been handled better. We used to have inter-school debates. All those things are going to be affected. You cannot take students from one school to another school without authorizations from all these guys. You get it? Me, I've decided to travel with my kids at least once a year just to make a family trip in our good SUV ride. Yeah, now ngenda gula SUV chawaka. Get SUV chetuvugamu. It's sad, guys. You see all these things that are being done. They look like they are simple things. They look like, oh, when they come out initially, they're supposed to excite us. And we do indeed get excited. But they affect millions of people. Like on Saturday, you see Saturday, there are so many people that make money in the morning up to 10. The tea women, the Katogo women, yeah, the Rolex guys, the Boda men, they make money on Saturday morning and they don't make money at all after that. All those businesses are going to lose money. And we think it's something that is good. It's not. The Saturday cleaning thing, for me, I find it to be very intrusive. I find it to be very disadvantageous. I find it could have been handled a different way. Very different. Like you see in my area where I live, if the LC chairperson went through, newe yali sembantu besobolanga Arthur, n'agamba tugenda batukola bulungi bwansi abatasobola kubeera omutuweeye 5 nze 5 naaliziwaddeyo. And then in my area where I live, there are those people that are poor that cannot afford to give 5k, but they will be there. Katinga chairman agamba, these people, we are back. Network had taken us off. Even me, I don't get that thing. Maybe let's stop. 9 a.m. is too late, Chris. 9 a.m. is too late. After a long time. Yes, Jay Sakaja, how are you? It's a pity. I see kids in buses parked like batches of matoke at the airport just to visit the airport. It's really sad. Maybe that could have been handled better. They say don't overload, okay? Every child sit in their seat. They could have like said teachers should be there. There are so many things that they could have done. Don't say buses should be 10 years. We have ministers that are driving cars that are 6 years old. A minister that makes millions. But anyway, when we say things like this, people will come and say, Arthur, you know, you're political. Vamu politics. Stupid people that say Vamu politics. This is affecting us, yeah? So anyway, but you see all these things that we do, they are going to affect us. Like Faba Yidibie, the people, you guys that are employed that make your money whether what or what, you guys are safe. Faba Yidibi. Every policy that the government brings affects us. Ochegeera. And hi Nico. Kati checho kulongosa echo mukirabanga echo kusaaga echo. But there are people that are not going to be working Saturdays anymore. Ochegeera. Actually, I get a chance to get your response. I wish to learn car inspection and I'm based in Tungamo. It's where I will be working from. Any guidance? You see Katagaya Marvin and Vinny Katz also wanted me to teach him, and I told him you just have to learn as much as possible about cars. I did not teach Vinny Katz, but he wanted to. There's something I can't teach you. Like, it's not a profession that has standards. A person that inspects cars is supposed to do this. You learn as much about cars as possible. And the thing that, Marvin, you need to learn is that customers value different things. There are customers that value you telling them what they want. There are customers that value that a mechanic checks their car. There are customers that value that their future car is checked by someone that has something to lose. There are customers that value that it's a person that they relate with checks their car. So you're supposed to have to understand what kind of customers you're dealing with. Bakasoma bumukyala nnyabo nze sibasobola bulungi. You get it? King Daniel, you have said something. Even transport kids to and from home. Is it also? No, that one is surprisingly. For school trips, the buses are supposed to be 10 years or newer. But they have said nothing about taking kids from home to school. I'm thinking schools are going to be innovative. They're going to say, we're not doing school trips, but you parents can take your kids to the destination. The National Cleaning Day policy is good, but its inception and execution has neither been consultative nor considerate. They should have been guided better. You see, I drove through town yesterday. Everywhere was clean. Everywhere was clean. Personally, I think, okay? Personally, I think because Kampala is going to be dirty for the rest of the month, and it will be clean just the 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. They clean Saturday, it's clean Sunday. I'm sure the guys that have been to town today, you saw it's still clean. Tomorrow by evening it's going to be dirty. Now it's going to be dirty for the next couple of days. Okay, now cleaning 1 day away a month is not bad. I personally think it should have been handled better. After you're forgetting the topic, I'm not forgetting basically. I just think we need to talk about these things as well. They're also important to us. I know someone that is leaving the country. That's a story for another day. And that person is leaving the country because of the country. Sad. So guys, thank you for watching the content that we are giving you. I don't know how many videos we have done since we started the uploaded videos, but thank you very much. Now, I inspected for 2 people yesterday. I had a scheduled inspection with one person, the person that bought the Vanguard. The other person called me in the morning as we were cleaning, and they booked. But because the person that had booked me said he was coming from up country, so he would come in the afternoon, I decided let me just do this morning inspection, and I went and did. Saturday of the end of the month is an additional off day, just like Sunday. We'll stay and clean my homestead. My homestead is cleaned every day. It's clean. Iwangi wa yonjo. Inside and outside. I have a dude that we pay that will dig around my fence, clean around my fence, fix the road. Like I have plots where people have not constructed. We also like clean those areas. I have a dude that I pay for that. So my area is clean. So I don't need one Saturday to clean. We just culture. We need a change of culture. Like the government needs to motivate people to become cleaner human beings, better human beings, to live in cleaner environments. You get, for me, I think it was one of my dreams to have a clean house, clean bathrooms. You get. So let's go to our inspections. Now, the Vanguard, I was able to take the pictures of the the Vanguard. It's that clean. It's that new. Okay, majorly most of the new cars are like this, but there are some terrible ones, but we never buy the terrible ones. This is under the engine. That's how clean it is. You guys should look at the inspection report. And now, this car had one weakness. If you look at the pictures, and I'm sure you guys will see, the bonnet has scratches. But we picked this car, this Vanguard, specifically because it had very low mileage. I think it was about 58,000 kilometers, and it was genuine mileage, 58,000. Now, what my diagnosis machine does, tampered, it doesn't read it. Tejisoma. If it hasn't been tampered, it will give you the mileage. You know how cars store mileage. When someone tampers with your mileage of the car, they tamper with the clock. That's why they tamper. They reset that. Now, if they reset that, the machine has to start from here to read. But mileage is stored in the engine, mileage is stored in the transmission, mileage is stored in the ECU. You get. Yes, Jay Sekaja, it's possible, especially with the SUVs. For the guys that live in Europe, you guys know there are people that don't drive their cars. I'm thinking even Japan, wherever this car came from. This is Japan used. Now, this had 58. There were others that had 70, others that had 120. Now, there were also others which the mileage was tampered. Now, normally when these guys bring cars and the mileages are good, they don't tamper. How will you know? Now, a car that has genuine mileage, first of all, my machine will read the mileage. It will have a bunch of service stickers. 1110, wanokuluji elimu bonnet. You will be able to verify and also look at the history. I have a service sticker here. You'll be able, and then there'll also be a UNBS inspection sticker. Wali kabaka yero. Now these guys normally they can duplicate the UNBS sticker, but there are so many other stickers that you need to know how to identify that they cannot duplicate. So a bunch of those stickers were there. And this car, Jola Wanino Vanguard, it was still using 0W20. We shifted it to 5W40 because 5W40 is the oil that I recommend for all Bond cars. You get the car from the Bond, start it with 5W40 and go up as your engine goes older. Yeah. So and this gentleman here did not want to buy a Vanguard. That wasn't his goal. Initially, when we had talked, I think we started talking last week. Initially, he wanted to buy a Toyota Primo. And he was considering either to buy a used Toyota Primo or a Bond new Toyota Primo. And we were considering that because a Primo would be like 55 million shillings, yeah? A 2012, 2013 model, 55 million shillings. And so we talked and there was no conclusion done. And yesterday morning, he called me and said, you know what, Arthur, I am going to go. He had an uncle of his. I'll go with the uncle ahead. We'll look around and then we'll call you to come inspect. But unfortunately, the uncle is rich. He drives a Bajitaka Ways, that big Prado. He doesn't know where non-rich people buy cars. Okay, he doesn't know the place where the affordable cars are. So he was in a rich people bond. And those rich people bond where rich people go and they don't even inspect, they just pay a lot of money and then drive. Now their cars are not bad. It's the same bond where, you remember I told you there is a gentleman, there's the time I was inspecting a Primo for him, and in that place, the Primo was 60 million shillings. But I think to have a Primo eyana mo mokaga. You remember? And that gentleman wanted to buy the Primo of 60 million. And I was dying to convince him to let's buy the Primo of 46 million. That's the rich man's bond where we were. Now, when they came, as they were discussing, I think their mind changed. I said, you know what, let's buy a Subaru. Now, I wanted to buy a 2019 Subaru, but it's really expensive. And the maximum budget I think the maximum budget for him was 60 million. But the Subaru he wanted to buy, I think, was over 75, something like that. And then we recommended we go to a lower Subaru. You remember the Subaru we bought it at 55. So I recommended we buy that one. However, as we were discussing, because he lives up country, we did mention how delicate Subaru can be and how expensive the parts of Subaru can be, especially the engine and the transmission. Those two things can mean to be very, very expensive. And chances are high that still those two things, like especially if those two things are worked on by mechanics in the village, chances are high they'll kill something. Now, you don't want the mechanics in the village to kill something that is very, very expensive. So at that point, I recommended we go back to Toyota. Like the engine of the car he wanted, engine of $1,15,000. The transmission is about 5 million shillings. It's now with them gearbox here, which cut a million. I am not sure. I just saw a video on TikTok. So, Jay Sekaja, this car that I'm sitting in is a 2010 model. It had genuine mileage, 68k. Now, of course, I've driven it up to 120 something now. Now I've done 115,000 is what I've done, but I got it at 68,000 genuine mileage. So when we went back, then the gentleman said I wanted a race car, not a low one. That's why I went from Primo to Subaru. Actually, it reads all modules. ECM and instrument cluster will not be in line together, unfortunately. These cars, dealers do know this before tampering. Yeah. But you know, Zach, I find that the machines don't read the mileage that has been tampered. It just skips it. How much did you buy your washing machine? I'm going to buy another one, by the way. This other one, I killed it. I killed it. How did I kill it? I switched it on ngamazitega flowing about an efa. So I'm going to buy another machine. I think I should buy it tomorrow. I should buy. Wait, Julie, started in Jinabako one. Jinabako one. But I think I bought it about 400, 350 to 450 there. Now I don't know the current prices right now. So so when we were discussing which options to buy, we talked RAV4, Harrier, and Vanguard. Initially, Mosei, the uncle, did not like the RAV4 because it's too common. And I said, but it's common for a reason. The uncle buys a lot of trucks. And then so we started asking him, Uncle, why do you buy the same trucks that other people are buying if commonality is bad? And then he said, but I'll buy the rear trucks as well. And we said, well, but you're still buying the common trucks. It's the same reason why people are still buying the RAV4s, the Harriers, and the Vanguards. But then we agreed we would not now look at the Harrier because they didn't like the Harrier. It's too common, Kali. Yeah, chikazi new. So we considered the RAV4, and then as we were looking at RAV4s, we considered the Vanguard because it's bigger, it's more respectful, and then the Vanguard comes with a 7-seater option. And then the 7-seater option of the Vanguard gives you higher resale value when you're going to sell. So that's how we came up with the Vanguard. But most Vanguards are black. And that's where we got stuck. So we looked at this Vanguard. This place had 6 Vanguards. We looked at them, and as we were looking, we decided on an option. But then the gentleman that was buying went to school. Yeah, went to school with a guy whose father owns a bond, apparently. So we drove and went there, and this boy wasn't serious. His dad apparently doesn't have the Vanguard, but then we were going to another bond which was selling the Vanguard at 68 million shillings. That's what asking price, definitely. Yeah, and remember, we're buying credit. You don't want to be, and I don't mean this to be the wrong way. If someone says we own a bond and you're going to buy on credit, you want to buy from them, not from someone they know. Which take it, eh? Yeah, so that's how we went back and paid for this car. Paid 40 million, the balance to be paid in 6 months. And that's okay. I think I love the fact that I no longer see a lot of Mazda CX-5s on the road. People should go back and buy yes, the Vanguards are old at 60 million, but these cars are indestructible. They're indestructible. These ones, kachino Vanguard asobola okukivuga emyaka 8 nga talina kyakikoze. Kutola nkiguze million 6 ajja kivuga emyaka 8 akifunde million 4. Okitegeera ne Mazda CX-5 yawa gyogenda ovuga esale million 2. Okitegeera atajja kivuga emyaka 8 ng'akyusa oil na shock ng'ebirala tewali kifa. Martin, are you seeing some CX-5s on the road? Like I was asking the lady you drove from Tinda to Nakawa, how many CX-5s have you seen? You get? And you ask yourself, Tiguan. I used to tell you guys, Tiguan, Touareg. Even the person that I knew that had a Touareg, the one that gave me the Touareg for review doesn't drive a Touareg, now drives a Mercedes-Benz. After I try out the gasoline pressure washers, I stopped using the electric ones. They don't last. Even the expensive one like the Kacha, they do. Actually, Zach, mine has lasted. I have no problem, but the gasoline ones, they make a lot of noise. But maybe that's something to consider. I drive that Vanguard you inspected for me in early January. That car is reliable. It only fails when you expect it to fail. But rarely, the only issue is fuel. Mafuta! Zengenda gula wano TX engeri gye baweze school trips. Gula TX nga mutambulira ne urban ngamba twala muzuwa de sagala genda yo. Man, Vanguard tezifa, maybe the noise. What do you mean the noise? Ugandans should stick to Toyotas. They don't listen. Obagamba tebawulira. Now, I also inspected in the morning. Yesterday, I inspected for a gentleman. They were buying a Subaru. Did I edit this? So we looked at about 12 Subarus, the Imprezas. The first car option of the Subaru we saw was a 2018, really, really, really nice. and we recommended it, but it had a faulty steering rack. Most of these Imprezas come with like with faulty steering racks. It had a camera. It had a camera on the other the passenger side mirror. It had a camera there. It's not very cold. Make it cold. It had a camera on the passenger side mirror. And it was a nice car. It was a nice car. Let me see if I have some pictures here. I took pictures because I knew if we bought it, I would not be going back. So the gentleman came with his wife. Let me make sure you just see the dress. So this is like a 2018 that we looked at first. It's a very first car we saw. Yeah, and it was nice. It had more features than all the other cars that we saw. Zine moroka endala zitwala bizabadde nganda. Kale nga bidi kale mwaka mukadde. It looked like that. It almost looks like the 2017 that we bought. It was really nice. I took pictures of this one because in a way I thought we might actually take it. Now there's something that I've realized that these guys where you guys buy cars from now are doing, and I don't like it. When we bought, I don't know if I posted the Subaru that we bought. When we bought the Subaru, the Forester we last bought, did I post that car? Because I gave the lady her inspection report. I don't think I posted that car. But we bought a Subaru Forester with the lady. My God, did I? Yes. Yes. Is it this one? Not this one. I've not posted. There is a Subaru Forester I inspected on Friday. Now, the lady called me, just the way the gentleman that bought the Subaru Impreza called me. They had their own cars, and we looked at about 8 Subaru Foresters, and we looked at 10. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We looked at about 11 Subaru Foresters. Now, we picked a Subaru Forester, and when we picked this car, we left the lady ngagenda office because, well, I was tired. It was Friday. I had a chimeza chemoroka. It was late, so we left and went. Now I am doing a chimeza chemotoka, and the lady texts me and says, Arthur, the Indian says you asked for money. And she sends emojis with rolling eyes, and she says, may God bless the works of your hands. And it was furious. It was a furious message. Now, I saw that message after the Chimeza Chemoroka, and I text her back. I say, I would love to see the person I asked money from. And after I text, I called her and I asked her, because she hadn't paid the full amount, I asked her, tomorrow when you're going to pay, I would like to go with you so that I see this person that claims I asked money from. And of course, later on, she stopped it, and I did not go. But this is what happened. And guys, I just want to put it out there. This is what happened according from what I got. The lady started looking for cars with a broker. Okay? Now, when she looked at all the cars, the brokers that sit at the gate, when she looked at all the cars, now she had seen all the options. She eliminated the broker. She went, sat somewhere, pretended she has left, and then she came back alone. Now, when she came back alone, that's when she invited me as well. Now we start looking at cars. The broker keeps following her around, and she says, "Goracho neswako nawe." So I think it's a joke. Now the broker keeps following her around, and when we are done, she goes to the office with the Indian that was showing us the car that we selected, and I think they refused to pay the broker. When they refuse to pay the broker finds the lady and says, "Oyo omusajja keberedde asabye abayindi sente." Now, guys, whether you have a broker or you don't have a broker, you're going to buy the car the same amount of money. Nkadem, whether you have a broker or you don't have a broker, you're going to buy the car the same amount of money. Now, the broker believes that I took his money. What should have been What should have been his money that I took it? You get? Now I am avoiding talking to those guys totally. Like yesterday when we were looking at the Impreza, that first Impreza that we looked at, it was really nice. It had its own issues. It had a cracked windscreen, a faulty steering rack. You get? And apart from those guys saying Atha Yasabi sent, I have had I told you a story of the Indian that came and said, don't say anything, just look at the cars and go. So I am having such things. So yesterday as we were looking at this car Impreza that I've showed you, this car first one, now the gentleman that was buying was giving me the phone, and I told him I'm not going to talk to that person. You get? They want to use it as leverage to blackmail agambe oyansabye sente. Right? So anyway, but we here when we were doing Subaru, Subaru ndozanga mukaga, we saw 6 of these. This was the newest. This was a 2018 model, and we saw this 2018 model. We saw a 2016 model, and we saw I think 2017 models. But most of these ones, the others either had a leakage or they had a bad engine. You get? So we ended up like moving out. So we went to another place where this person that was buying had a friend of his, and this friend of his is the one that showed us the next cars. Now there is a reason sometimes I fail to mention that the person identified their own cars. Now, sometimes when we buy a car that seems like it's too expensive, I found the person had identified the car and they only wanted me to look at the car. Like, you see the Forester that we bought at 48? When we were inspecting, I think I'm going to find those pictures of the last car that we bought. There was also a Forester of this model. You remember this one that we bought 48? Now, there is a Forester, the same model which was being sold at 48. And I encouraged the lady to buy the next model, which is a 2017. No. Huh? Yeah, which is a 2017 at 55. She bought it at 55. Why? This car, 4 years from now, no one will want it. They'll be wanting it. Already people want the newer model. The other one has features that this one doesn't have. So I recommend it instead of buying this at 48. Because already olimugura moroka ya Swagger. Yongerako million ziri omusanvu ogule omwaka omupya. Okitegeera. So that's what we did. So and when we looked at about 12 Imprezas, and then we ended up buying this one. This is a 27 model. This was the cleanest Subaru Impreza I've seen. Of all the Subarus I saw yesterday, it was yesterday. But it still had a faulty steering rack. And it was too clean. Kanda oba chifanya engine room chijiraga. You see how clean it looks? That's how clean it was. See how clean it looks? It was impressively clean. See how clean it looks? That's how clean it was. See how clean it looks? It was that clean. It was that clean. Now, these cars, wale omoroka zibakuba yekirangi okubuza abuza rust. Je ziri nyingi nnyo nga gobujja n'ogisanga olowooza mpya naye nga nkube yekirangi. Now, there's also a thing with these Subarus, a lot of them have leakages. So, and you would not want to buy a car where the engine replacement will cost you about 8 million, and then you buy a car that has possible overheating history or might overheat on you. So you should not be buying those Subarus with leakages. And of course, the engine sound with Subaru is very, very important, because engine is FBs a million monana, million kumi. You don't want to go that direction. So you want to be very careful. So those are the 2 cars that we bought yesterday. I'm happy about the purchase. Now, you guys need to understand that car sellers and brokers have learned a trick to hide police receipts. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, but sometimes it works. Bafuna engeri gye bayikuweka temporary ne banga ebivuddeko. And I've also realized some police receipts take, because I've consulted, I got off a phone call with someone, the gentleman I inspected the car. You remember the car Vitz of 10 million? Yeah, we bought a Vitz of 10 million. You saw it. Now, the day we bought that car, the police receipt did not reflect, it wasn't there. Now, three things can happen. A police receipt can take long to reflect, it can be hidden. Okay? Now, those two things we have to put in mind. Remember, there is a Chigege we bought, Bajisa Yoko Digital, and then the number plates, because digital, then they transition, then they hide the police receipts temporarily, then they come back later. Yeah, that happens. But even with these cars that have new old number plates, it also happens. You get, it also happens. So I came off a phone call with a gentleman, the one that bought that Vitz. Let me see if I can see that car Vitz in Kabalagi. Let me see if I can see that car Vitz. I show it to you. Guys, if I inspect for you, day 2 will cost you 300,000 shillings. Day 2 would cost you 300,000. I can't give you guys day 2. Day 2, you will pay 450,000 shillings inspection for day 1. If we don't get a car on day 1, you'll pay 300,000 shillings for day 2. Now, most of the people that end up not getting a car, most of them, it's because you called me at 11 a.m., wanted inspection at 2 p.m., and you expected to get a good car by 5 p.m. Very impossible, guys. Okuja konga, you just calling me to look at one car and I go away. But if you also want to give me the responsibility of making sure that if that car is not good, we look at another car, day 1 is 450,000 shillings. Day 2 will cost you 300,000 shillings. I want to make myself clear, because I've realized the people that give me the most trouble are the people that I end up having to give day 2. Yeah, and they see this Vitz. We got it at 10.5 million shillings. Network can be this Vitz. That Vitz is old, but it's one of the best buys of this year. And it had a police receipt that didn't reflect at the time. So during the week, the gentleman that bought this car got stopped by a police officer in, I think, in Lugazi. He has been driving this car since he bought the car on 9th July. And he has never been stopped for a police receipt because it wasn't there. So he was stopped this week because there's a police receipt. And he sent me a very tough message. He said, Arthur, I cannot be paying for your recklessness. Find a way of taking care of this police receipt. Now, I talked to him for about 20 minutes. And I asked him, because I remember checking for the police receipt and telling him to call it. And he says he called the lady that, because, and first of all, let me just also push this out here. Guys, bontwale machindi okebere motoka. Emotoka ye machindi yiyo siyange. I am making sure to mention that. Emotoka ye machindi yiyo siyange. Machi doesn't have a good reputation at all. Isaac, who said me 50k? 50k, me 50k. Yeah. Leave me alone, Isaac. Go my sense is a mechanic going koranai. When you find me where I am, you pay 450,000. Me, I have fuel in my car. The 2017 Subaru Impreza was 44 million. 44. Guys, bontwale machindi ngagojo yagala ogule motoka obanga jolabye moroka yo si yange sagala kunyega after. I am saying I'm not going to say this on TikTok, but I'm saying it on YouTube here because you guys, you are different. Bompito kebere moroka ye machinde simanya kibuye simanya mundeba ezo zizo sagala kudda kunkubira temunkubira ngoguze moroka ye machindi. All of you guys that are trying to buy cars and you end up in machindi, you're trying to buy cars that you almost want to steal cars. Yes, moroka ye yajefunira naye because yaitafuna taita inza funa moroka nungi ku milioni ze 10.5 netumugamba guleye moroka gwe senga olabe moroka zetwamutaasa kugula. You get sigenda bogera ko eri ku YouTube ku TikTok wano tebaliwo kyembo mulaba mbadde ne walanga nnyo okukyogera naye let me say it here because mwe bagayi mwe mujja okundifendinga wano bogera nze nja kujja nkebere. Era there is a gentleman kworo naku twali tukebera ki prime kivundu gayi nanga afo zeno kebera ye moroka twagitwala kulunya nga weeyo broker weeyo. You get now I'm just trying to throw this out there because I found that people that end up going to matching bobe nyindi they are too petty. Mukubide ne mugamba, you know what, simanyi obo no sobali muruka. We remember we inspected the car. I told him all the things he needed to do. He has been driving the car every day. Emoroka tefangako teina kye yali ebadde era kuva we yagigula avuga buvuzi. I asked him okuva wagula emoroka, has any police officer in Kampala stopped you and told you kulika ekipapula nti nedda? Ne mugabe ipapula ebyo olumu tebi reflectinga, ne mugabe abamu babikweka. You get, he wanted me to pay. Ne mugabe omanyi on day 2 nali kucharginze emitwalo 3 naye tewagampa kati agasa tujjako omwendo osasula ekipapula. Guys, it's the reason why I said I wanted to talk about the things that can go wrong when you buy a car. But after you are full, money is hard to get. Neka, guys, ngeza kato kumitigating risks. Niko, I'm trying to mitigate risks. Nabagamba omusajja bwe yagamba mbu abantu abamu basalawo okutta erinnya artiste abaana bali amukene yenze. Nzo okutta erinnya abaana kabali mukene. Erinnya mulireke, erinnya liri very important. There are places where I go, omunampita Arthur, for the love of cars jangu lwaki tewaŋŋamye nti ojja nampisaawo. Okitegeera eh? Of course there are also places where people don't know who I am, but the places where people know who I am nange nyambiwa. So guys, let me just push this here. Omwami ono kwabaddeko ekipapula kya mitwalo 9. Let me tell you this, I told him emoroka eyo ne bwe kwali baddeko ekipapula kya mitwalo 9 omukazi oyo yaguze emoroka agaana okukisala wali ogigula. Why? Yali talina wagenda kujja moroka namunga eno mu milioni 10.5. Emoroka zaatabuka guys. Yali talina wagenda kujja moroka ngeno nga namunga eno ku milioni 10.5. I can guarantee you that nze mbadde n'abantu nga tunoonya moroka za milioni 10. No, just the other day naina omukyala, he's a big fan of here. Asoma report, every inspection report I do agisoma. We went to Bakuli nga tunoonya moroka milioni 15. Netufuna moroka Alex ya milioni 14 nga yingi ni ebulaabulamu nga bagituguze milioni 14. Esi nga takola nga emipiira enaku ejiri, engine nga ebulaabulamu, suspension was intact, the interior was intact, just yeetaga kwoza nga bagituguze milioni 14 nga tusasulako 12 million. I told the lady buy the car, gisasuleko gitwale 14. And I'm telling you that Alex was looking like this. And the reason why I told that lady to buy that car, they give you 14 million cash now, and they tell you to look for the Toyota Alex that is in the condition of that Alex. Neyekubula. You get neyekubula. Kategaya Marvin, I can't manage the siri musobozi wa motoka. Sibi sobole ebyo. One day you said that those looking for cars of less than 16 million bakulika. Nagamba less than 10. Nagamba less than 10 and below. And that, I think that was after this guy. It was after this guy. Guys, nze siraba nk'omuntu agula motoka milioni 10 nga alina oluzungu ng'olwono guy bana oluzungu lwono lubadde impeccable. I cannot read the WhatsApp message, it's on my phone, but oluzungu lwono guy lwaite lugula eno motoka. That's why most of the time guys, I tell you guys tugule motoka za bondi, motoka nojogerako oluzungu olungi tutinga okozeseza olulimi olulirigo. So guys, my conversation with him went along the lines of, what if you were driving that car omupiira ne gwabika, tewali guze mupiira. I remember there's a time I bought a tire nagugula na oxy tires. On that very day when I bought the tire, nali nyambuka akasozi ne wafe wali akasozi waliwo amayinja mangi, ejinya lifumita omupiira. I had to buy another tire. What would you do under those circumstances? So I told him, I want you to understand that every time something goes wrong with the car, it could be worse. Ate no chewe nyisa simu somesa wa secondary. He's a businessman. Emoro kena ajikosa na delivery. Ajiti cut. You get eh? Korora naba kobolozo inano wojisanga niko. That's the thing. There are cars that don't have a price because if you start looking for them, you'll not find them. Guys, please like the broadcast. Just double tap your screen like this. Just double tap. You lose nothing. Just do tata. Just do tata. You lose nothing. Just double tap the screen. Kategaya Mavin, you wanted to try no. So guys, a lot of things can go wrong after you have bought the car. There are major things that I can guarantee you. If I inspect a car for you, they will not go wrong. And if they go wrong, I will personally make it right. One, I can guarantee you that if you buy a car, unless I have told you that the engine might fail, it will not fail. The gearbox, unless I have told you, because if I tell you, chances are high it will fail. Like that car Alex that we are buying, engine yali ebulamu ngetokota bubi. Na yenga ku milioni 14 mu Uganda ne bagamba no Alex efaanana eri Alex toina wojijja. On the same day, someone that does inspection called me. Nga banoonya moroka. Makanika yagenda okuteeka gadi ku moroka tuina edi good drone je twagula. Nangama musajja we inaka moroka kayaguze eno. Yaka moroka kabi. After to have an effective process of inspection and to protect your integrity, set standards in the thing. Let one call you first and tell you what they want. There are people that call me nga sente za manguje musinga sijja kuzigoba wangaja ngo tunule ku ene moroka. But you see the thing that happens. That's why I'm telling you. Your money covers one day. Oba inspection nyo koze sawa 10 oba meka. Na pija toyo 1 million atavuga ipsa mutana funa moroka. Ya mpita ulinge ne mukebede moroka ne mga mzeyi ompita nayo genda kumpasa tugange. Teyadda mukunkubira. The thing that happens Saliye, if someone calls me at 3 p.m. and they say, Arthur, I want you to look at this car. I am in Nakawa and they are in Nakawa. I will go and look at that car. I will make my report and go away. 450,000 shillings is done. Now, if I go to look at that car and that car is not good, yeah, your money is gone. That's why I receive my money before I inspect. Okay? Now, if it's bad and you want, we can look at other cars. But if you want me to look at other cars tomorrow, you'll pay 300,000 shillings. Ontegere, you'll pay because that's another day. Atelo naku teluba lulwo banku nyigawo teluba lulwo. That's why I normally tell you guys, if you're going to buy a car, give a day. Me, I've been buying, especially if you're buying a used car, and all of you guys, you buy used cars. If you're buying 0 mileage car, you're going to go to Sefao, going to go to Motor Care, just walk in and pay the money, 80 million, 100 million, and walk out with your Nissan Cube. But if you're going to be buying a used car, when we were buying that car Impreza, we looked at 12 cars. We recommended 2. We looked at 12 cars and recommended 2. Ere ya sembioji ya guze because erije twasuze abadi ya 46. Ngene sembioji ya 44. Ya sembioji ya kozechi ya guze. When we looked at Vanguard, we looked at 6. We intended to look at others. Nengene atezidi iyo. Oli abadatu kubachikopo. But you remember to take your kids to the zoo. I never liked animals. I never even liked going to the zoo. I don't think I ever liked going for trips. 80 million for Nissan Cube. You guys, you started Musifao ya million in Sam. Which take So anyway, guys, and the people buying cars of 10 million and below. A car of 10 million and below, there are things that you need to expect. You expect that you're going to be driving this car and you're going to invest a 2 million or even more. Gwekasogure million kumi kukawansi better on a million bid. You're not going to. The thing that we can do is mitigate the rate at which you're going to be investing that money. If you buy a car of 10 million and below badly, you'll end up investing 10 million and then it will be a car of 20 million. And that means you'll have bought a project car at 10, which doesn't make sense. You get it? If you buy a car of 10 million very well, you might actually even drive that car katingono ajivuza mwezi munamba 10 nafa ne kaka 10 nafa chipapula che chamujeko. Era I told him goreka tunatuna no kusobola mmoroka emitwalo mwenda bojibaje. He said he was even going to go to Natete to contest the police receipt. And I told him, but you man, you're going to spend 60,000 trying to contest the police receipt of 90k. Why not just spend 90k and have peace? There are things I think with the ofunamo experience not anko kumanya nti waliwo obuntu obutono okitegeera kati techa reflecting for 3 weeks. It did not reflect for 3 weeks. Obakali bachikweka nese abantu badinyaga bachikweka nete bakweka chipapula echo. It just didn't reflect. But people should be understandable according to the hints and about he got a good car. Let him get the money and pay and he continues to enjoy the car. Bottom line, let people involve you ahead of time. There is a guy who bought a Starlet at 8 million. He's been putting money in it slowly. And even painted it again. It now looks very good. Yeah. Guys should know that even cars of 15, you need to reserve 2 to 3 million. Exactly. Kati. But to call inspection, we are trying to make sure you don't invest 10 million. Because guys, I will tell you, omuntu agule moroka ya million 13 na ajimalira mwe 10. And also I find that sometimes there's a gentleman, he consulted me and he booked me for inspection actually. Now on the day of inspection, he cancelled. Now I didn't know what happened, but later on he texted me and said he bought a Spacio old model. Now he was texting me to show him how to calculate the fuel. Okay? To calculate the fuel, how to know his car. And then my question was, who inspected that car for you? And he said someone else, and he actually used these words. Someone else inspected for me, no hard feelings. Someone else inspected this car, no hard feelings. But I want you to show me. And I said, but I show that to all the people I inspect for. You get, and then he said, I need you to also give me a mechanic to work on my car. Now I am stopping that as long as I'm not like supervising that mechanic to do. If you buy a car from elsewhere, I am not recommending a mechanic. Why? You're going to, especially with the very old cars, bond cars I can recommend, but the old cars, you're going to buy a car that has problems, take it to a mechanic. Olumwakanika ebintu kabyo byakanika otandika okugamba asa yampa mechanic eyanziba. That's why I did not give him a mechanic. I told him, you talk to the person that inspected the car. Akuwe mechanic. This car enovits nebo yali badde capable ya mitwala abiri nali mugambi jigule kuba tewali wo mmotoka andala yali agenda kufuna nga nungi ngeno. Do you know what it means to buy a Vitz that has a 1.5 liter engine ngeina 1NZ ngeetambula nojigule milioni 10 n'emitwala 5 kale ne bwenzi kuba katoyina wojijja. Arthur, what should someone's monthly salary earnings be for them to buy a car? It depends where they live and where they work. Like today, there's a gentleman, namusomesa digital marketing, and he has a computer shop. And he was asking me, he wants to buy a car of 15 million. And I recommended the Alphard. n'agamba ate amafuta ne mwana ku million 15 emmoloka zonna z'ogenda okugula zigenda bazinywa. And I told him, but why are you buying the Alphard gwe nga gwe? You're buying the Alphard because you have a computer shop in town. The Alphard will be a moving billboard. Jigure genda KCCA sasula sende za sticker ezokuizoteka sticker gula sticker ya multiplex ekutekizo parking buli wamu. Just get a place where you know there is traffic. Nga abantu bagenda tunulire mmoloka yo. Park that car there. You'll have a billboard. Ne mubuzo obira nangambira Kawempe Tula. Kawempe Tula to town is about 8 kilometers. That the Alphard will give him between 5 and 8 kilometers per liter. If he buys the Alphard that is in good condition, it should be able to give him 7 to 8 kilometers per liter. Mujamu esala negena mutano mukaga. But even if it gave him 5 kilometers per liter, if he lives 8 kilometers from his place of work, that means he does maximum 20 kilometers a day. Those are 4 liters. 4 liters at 7,000 shillings. Gumunya. Gwagumunya. Gumunya. Izo lita 2 gumunya ogumwenya gumuleta mu kibuga ogumwenya ne gumuzaayo. Now let's just imagine asanze jamu munje emitwalo emeka je emitwalo 3 fuel. Now if you're going to be paying 30,000 in fuel coming home and going back, but while you're coming people are reading your billboard, while you're going back people are reading your billboard, when you park people are reading your billboard. Ngamba isn't the Alphard a very good investment? It definitely is. So I recommend that buys the Alphard now. Treating enga pangisiza billboard. After which engine is hard to kill with moderate fuel consumption. I think all engines 2 liters and above are very hard to kill. Toyota engines, but even Nissan, even Mitsubishi, those actually is a Morocco single engine it is ifa. Even the Mazda CX-5s that you don't see on the road anymore, the engines are still intact. It's just these things that come with the engine that will die. The technology, the wirings, the turbos, the injectors, ebyo. So if you're going to be buying a car and you want a low maintenance car, always buy petrol. Always buy petrol. Now, after buying petrol, I find that if you really want a cheap, low maintenance car, buy big engines. It should be 2.4 liters and above. You're going to enjoy yourself. Mukisa Ronald, for someone monthly salary, let's do some maths here, guys. Let's do some math. Where is my calculator? Now I'm going to imagine that let me use an Excel sheet, and then we'll get a total after. Ronald, I'm going to imagine you're one of those people when I share your mechanical with us who bought cars many years ago. Sometimes we need another opinion. Ngenda kwa ebiganye diagnosis lab. Nawe na mechanical wano mechanical nanga mechanical amukozeke emikolo tugenda okutula, because me when you tell me mechanical akozeke emikolo I first call and he tells me his story because I know your side of the story, then I put you on the phone call, both of you, and then we harmonize, because the mechanic abankolera nkimanyi balungi. Yes, they are mechanics nabo balimu obubibbi. I know that when they work on a car that I've sent them, they normally have bayinamu ku nsonyi. So Ronald Katubale, if I want to imagine you rent at a place where you have parking, so you're not going to pay for parking, so one of your expenses is going to be fuel, yeah, and the fuel for the people that live near town is wenu bali emitwalo 3. So we say equals sum you do 30,000 times, and I'm going to count 31 days because most of the months are 31 days. So you need to make sure that you have about 930,000 shillings for fuel. That's if you're going to drive your car every day. If you're not going to be driving your car every day, you should not be buying it. You get, because it will be a very sad thing for you to get an accident on a border, yet you left a car at home. Just don't buy a car. Tumanye tojirina is send us take a unit trust. Now, every month you will be spending about 930,000. Now, every 6 months, for you people that live in town, every 6 months you're going to be servicing your car, and because you service every 6 months, I'm going to say you're going to be needing about 50,000 to put away. Let's say not 50. Put away 25,000 every month. That will be for engine service. Now every month era I need to reserve some money for maintenance every month. Obe food what a food kateke yebali kabereyo, because when it dies it will die. Every month put about 70,000 aside for maintenance. Every month, whether the car has died or not, put that money aside, because if it doesn't die at the end of the year, at least you have 700,000 saved. And most of you guys that live in Tinda and work in town, your car will not die. But if it doesn't die, then you have 700,000 aside. You can top it up for when you want to upgrade your car. But let's make it 100K to be realistic for the people that have fixed cars. So you save 100K every month for vehicle maintenance. Now, if you're going to be driving your car every day, I would also reserve money for washing. Now, I know you're not going to be washing your car every day, so I am going to say you reserve 5K every day for washing. That means you need to budget 155,000 shillings for washing every month. So if you buy a good car, nga si ya kufafa, whether you have got it from the bond or not from the bond, have about 1.2 on the side. So that means omuntu yali badde akola million nga 2. Senkungu Dennis reserves 250,000 per month for his Rawum 2008, then 500,000 for fuel per month. Okay. So you guys should have about 1 million for the car every month. Kitegeeza omuntu yali badde akola million nga 2. At our area, we wash at 5K outside only. That's enough for me once a week. You wash on once a week. Me, the way I have to wash every day because of the dust. It has a lot of dust. So Ronald Nkuzemu, better go call a million because you need to eat. And also it doesn't make sense for you to buy a car and then you cannot buy yourself clothes, or you cannot buy good soap, you cannot buy perfume. It's important that you don't buy a car and then you start looking at other things that should be basic needs as luxuries. And how much is the engine for Kawundo 2011? Or it's better bajisibe yingi bajisiba kasiba anti bajisiba si million nge mu kitundu bajisibe eyeddawo. You see, most of the Toyota engines actually can be overhauled properly. So don't buy engines. Me, I tested it. I bought an engine. Now okugula engine okujjako ng'erina ekintu ekiri special, ate erina kiri special tugijjamu tugikuba wali in one day nga tugisibye ng'ezzeemu mu mmoloka. Aijuka Blair VIP, Mpanga Godfrey, Chambade Hannington, Jones Info, Simon Baker, Sozi Rajab VIP, Muyombia Mark, King Daniel VIP, Simon Baker, Yusuf Lugonda, Kasuri Ramadan VIP, Ricky Chikawa VIP, Richard Aki VIP, Mpire Innocent, Muchibi Malik, Isaac Orute, Basic Chris VIP, Samuel S. Zak, Katamba Isaac Katende, Yusuf Lugonda Nkumaze, Mugambe Nasif, Namkefa, Kategaya Marvin, Jay Sekaja, thank you for being here. Nicola Sebulime, Nampija Julie, ba VIP bange Morad K Momo, Ronald M Kasendo, Ajmani Mobile M Kamori, Agaba Agre, Lawrence Biamukama, Martin Sentongo, Rubama Martin, Lemont, Eric Chandano, VIP, Senkungu Dennis, mudoza sebamaze bantu bange It's the same people that have been chatting. Thank you very much for being engaging. Tell other people about the channel. Tell them the convention, guys. The convention, the Love for Cars convention, has been moved to the week after the week we had scheduled it because of the cleaning Saturday. So now the convention will be on 5th September 2026, not 29th August. 29th August will be at home cleaning. So 5th September is when we'll have the convention. Travel Heart UG. Zas David Klaje, Bennett Musafiri, Sibamazeye Muloza, Sally James, Trevor Kasaja, Bamazeyo. Bana abali Mukamori, I don't take it for granted. Thank you very much for being part of the broadcast. Njabala Benja, Richard Damolida, Kasivante Akram, Mukisa Ronald, Okot Simon Peter, or Pini Raw Kani. I don't know how to read that. Arthur, you'll get a VW cars like the Touareg. Leave them if you can. If you have a lot of money, buy them. Chairman Zakari Lari Mukamori. Atenze Arthur Stewart. Now in Kwagala nyo bale kubeerako. Guys, ali bad tickets. If you see them bisara ngenda bagambe ncha, let me text the person in charge of ticketing. Abawuli ali bad tickets za mmeka. Guys, Arthur was blowing a whistle. Me? Arthur, do you mean by good car to a person like me who is planning to buy a Vista next year because you told me to leave Spacio in peace? No. You can buy a Spacio. But the Vista Adeo, if you buy it with the ZZ engine, it will be better than the Spacio. A good car is a car that will not have engine problems, transmission problems, suspension problems, electronic problems. 4 parts. If those 4 parts are covered, that's a good car. Eye moroka bweberanga engine namu, gear namu, amasanyalaze maramu, ya nga ne suspension nungi, nga yeta ne bwebe limu obukola naye nga nungi. Eye moroka buli kyokola tokiddamu. Kitegeze emoroka gyosobola nze you guys kamba sibuli njabala benchi biratu binyumye encha. I wish you guys a very lovely evening. Don't drink and drive. Mwekuume bayaye bange tusobola okubanga tulina okulaba ku bintu wano obudde nga butuuse. Yes, tujja tuyinza okubanga tuli bazeeyi naye tulina okubeerawo tubirabe. Mukama bawo omukisa. I'm buying Musawo of Eyes a ticket. Omusawo w'amaaso agala mugulira ticket. Guys, Mukama abawo omukisa. Ciao.